If you guys click this video, it's because you probably have even just the slightest amount of interest in Tucson housing, how the market's doing, and maybe you're looking to buy or sell and you just want to educate yourself on what to expect or how to prepare. Either way, thank you guys for watching. I'm Mesa Martinez, and let's get into how Tucson is doing. So for this video, it's going to be two parts. It's going to be how Tucson has done over the last 33 years and where we're at currently. And when I look back over the last 3 decades, and specifically back to 1991, only because that's as far as my program will allow me to go, Tucson is in an incredible position. But to see where we came from makes it quite incredible to see and understand where we are. So looking at 1991, now this is going back 33 years, and I'm going to go in increments of 10, so decade after decade. In 1991, the median price for a single family home, this does not include townhomes, mobile homes, manufactured homes, or anything else, just single family homes, was $76,500. Fast forward 10 years and the price almost doubled to $130,000 for single family home. Again, this is median pricing. Now after 2001, I stopped prior to the decade and I looked at 2006, before the great crash, and home prices at their peak here in Tucson were $231,000. Now fast forward after those brutal years in 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, in 2011, Tucson hit its low at $125,000. Now it's still commonly brought up about homeowners that maybe had a property or had equity at that time, their nerves and their experience from 2007 and 8 still carry on to this day. And I don't blame them. That was a significant impact to most of America. I will also say I don't have a crystal ball and I don't know what's going to happen next year, next month, or even tomorrow, but I'm also not someone that says we'll never experience that again. We truthfully don't know what's going to happen, and we're at the mercy of the economy and world events and the Fed and the president and so on and so forth. What I will say is we have the data to look at performance to go back 30 plus years, and real estate has only ever gone up in the long run. I do not look at real estate as a short-term investment. I think it is a long-term investment, and going from 2011 where it was $125,000, fast forward 10 years to 2021, it jumped up to $310,000. So 3 years ago to today at 2024, where we stand here in May, median price points for homes, single-family homes in Tucson, are $380,000. The graph and the data for home prices here in Southern Arizona and specifically Tucson is very easy to read. There is no hidden data. There is no real pattern to try to break down. The bar goes up and to the right, and I'm very bullish on real estate and how it performs. It's good to see that even though we saw crazy times during the pandemic, Tucson, again, specific to Tucson, our town and our really county has been very resilient over these interesting years. Now that we're in an election year, Tucson has still been very resilient when it comes to the ups and the downs, and ultimately homeowners, and if you've bought in the last 10 years, have seen good appreciation in their homes. With that being said, I thought it would be interesting to look at the most expensive home sold and the least expensive home sold year to date. In March of this year, Tucson not only saw the most expensive home sold ever in Tucson history, it was the most expensive home sold year to date as well, naturally. This home sold for $7,480,000, and it was sold in 85718 zip code, the foothills. Of course, there's a lot of prime real estate up there, and the views on this home, although I haven't been, from the photos, the views and the pool and the design, I think are absolutely incredible and 100% warrant that price tag. Now on the complete opposite side of that scale, the least expensive home sold year to date in Tucson was in May, actually just not too long ago of this year, for $85,000. This home was a small Adobe fixer-upper. I couldn't really see all the details on it, but simple home, and I believe it was sold in 85713. Now with that fun stuff out of the way, let's get into how Tucson performed last month. So taking a look at the total sales for last month, April 2024, Tucson had 717 sales. This is up 2.7% from the same time last year to today. Now, this is almost expected considering 2023 saw one of the slowest markets ever in history, and Tucson was no exception. It was very slow. sellers pulled their homes off the market because they were just sitting, and buyers sat on the sidelines to wait for the market to show some signs of relief. Moving into the average sales price, it was $515,000. This is up 18% year over year. And the median sales price was $395,000. This is up 11.3%, again from the same time last year. Looking at the last 4 months of performance, the sales points are up 4 months in a row. So we've seen good growth during the exit of the winter market. Now that we're in the spring market, it's doing a lot better. Now, I've said it in previous videos, but the days on market metric for me is very important because this is going to dictate how we set expectations and what to expect, whether you're both buying or selling. The good news is the days on market for a home is actually down over the last 3 months consecutively. So we've seen busier market bring down how long a home is sitting on the market. The average days on market is 36 months, so just a hair over a month. And the median days on market is 16 days. This is on par with where we were last year, so no real change when it comes to year over year. This next one, again, I think very important whether you're a buyer or a seller. This is percent of list price received. How much a seller makes between their list price and what they actually sell for. This number comes in at negative 1.1%, and this doesn't really affect the buyer or seller. Now, if this number were 110%, which means sellers are getting on average 10% over their list price, that means it's a seller's market. That's telling me that there's competition, buyers are having to offer over asking price to get homes. If this were 90% received, or negative 10% is a better way to say it, that would mean that it's a buyer's market. Sellers are having to give concessions, give discounts from their list price to what they actually close on their home for. Seeing as how sellers are only taking a 1% hit, a couple $1,000 depending on your price point, doesn't really move the needle for a buyer or a seller, so kind of negligible, and it's actually the same as it was last year. Next is the price per square foot. The average price per square foot is actually up 12%, great return year over year, and the average is $249 a square foot, and the median is at $234 a square foot here in Tucson. I know I say a number of these topics are important, but they're all important to me, and I only pick the ones that I think are worth mentioning. The next is the most competitive price points. And naturally, the entry-level price point homes is going to be $300 to $399, so $300 to $400, and that is the most competitive price point with 239 total sales in the previous month. The next is surprising because it's actually this price point that's a step down, $200 to $300, and they had 115 total sales. And coming in third at 107 total sales are homes priced from $400 to $500,000. That wraps up the data part, and I want to give you guys what I've actually grown to enjoy looking up every month is the most competitive zip codes. I personally look at Tucson as a very segmented market by zip code, and each one is so unique when compared to the others that it's interesting to take a look how each zip code is performing. The most competitive zip codes, and I'd say the busiest zip codes for last month, was 85710 on the east side with 47 sales, 85747 also on the east side at 46 sales, and 85750 in the northeast at 42 sales. The zip codes that had the quickest or the lowest amount of days on market were 85735 with 3 days on market, 85737 with 4 days on market, and 85704 with 5 days on market. The next two categories go hand in hand. The first one is going to be the zip codes with the highest median price point. And naturally, as you might expect, 85718 came in with a median price point of $976,000. In second place was 85755 at $885,000. And in third place was 85750 at $825,000. On the opposite end of that ranking were the zip codes with the most affordable or the lowest median price point homes. Coming in first when it comes to the most affordable median price point is 85714 at $228,000, 85736 at $249,000, and 85713 at $279,000. That wraps up all the numbers I have to you. And if you ask me, Mason, what do you think, or what is your opinion about where Tucson is going over the next 6 months? I think with the little bit of relief that we're hoping to get, and that has been stated by the Fed, by Mr. Powell, we're going to see a busy fall and winter market. Now, I say that lightly, not that it's going to be this crazy mad dash for buyers to buy homes and sellers to put their homes on the market, but I do think, and the way I picture it, is there's a lot of pent-up buyer demand and seller demand that has been behind really the mortgage rates that are waiting to be released. I know me personally, as happy as we are with this home, and honestly we're probably not going to move, if the cards were right, we probably would house shop, as we would like maybe a bigger garage, a little more square footage, and a slightly bigger yard. Now again, we bought in the lowest of the lows when it came to rates, so it's just a numbers game. The math doesn't play out for us and doesn't really benefit us to move right now. I think there's so many families in that position and so many homeowners in that position, and even renters that I would say missed the boat. Not that you can ever time it, but a lot of people are still hanging on to the hopes that they're gonna see a significant change in the market. Circling back to the beginning of the video, and I just don't think that's gonna happen. And we're already seeing signs of stabilization. We're seeing improvements in the market with rates still being in the 6s, which again is the new norm. I don't want to go too much off on a tangent, but thank you guys for watching. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. That way you can stay up to date with my updates and any listings I have. I really do appreciate it. I'm Mason in Tucson, and I'll see you guys in the next video.